Okay, can you hear me now? Does it work now? Can you hear me? Should be working now. Okay, cool. You mean the volume is on? It means you can hear me, or it's not loud enough? Or is that cool? Okay, cool. Yeah, just done one video just before was running through the divergence. So I think the question you were asking, I think we can take coffee for example now, and I was showing. So you can see the divergence we're having on coffee for quite some times now. That did actually start here, or you can argue that we did actually get the first one there on 111 was the first drop. Then we got the divergence on 109. Oh, okay. Let me check that. Okay, shouldn't be. Okay, didn't deactivate it, so they should be working. Anyway, we can chat on the WhatsApp if needed. I don't know why you're not adding to this. There's no reason. What can I put some setups? Live chat. Alright. Need to do this. Okay. Does it work better now? Or can you actually use the chat? What do you mean? You good? So you can hear me and you can see the screen. That's all fine, yeah, right? Okay, let's keep going. So yeah, on coffee. So what I was saying, so we got that first small divergence, that level here at 109 on the here on that second touch. So when you get that kind of divergence, so they did continue to push lower. So we got the first another touch at 105, then got another one at 103, and potentially today double bottom. Hopefully that we could get here on that on the trend line or roughly on it. So the target usually for the divergence, the way from what I could see and experience on my trading, is that you go back to the first peak. So that one would be here at 111, and you look at the origin of that peak. So you retrace it up, and you look, and that's your target for the swing. So 118 roughly. Got a pretty good example here on the previous one. Of course, that did trigger a massive move to the upside, but the first swing did actually follow exactly that rule. So you have that falling wedge here, got the divergence here. There was a fake drop here, or some sort of a, potentially a bear trap or something. And you could actually see that the price did after that retrace all the way up to the origin of the divergence. That was 104. So I don't know if that's answering your question about the target. It actually doesn't mean the price will stop there. In that instance, it did actually stop there and dropped quite hard back here before resuming to the upside. So that was actually only a very first target for that swing, as it did actually end much higher. Yeah, so for that one, of course, we don't know. Either we will see the price breaking at some point here and moving to 1.8, then pull back, similar to what it's got before actually breaking much higher. So that's of course a possibility. But yeah, in terms of the target, that's what you're looking for. That's the way you actually look at the targets. Yes. Can take another example. I mean, the one I've been complaining about, which is crude oil, and for some good reason, because I'm kind of really not happy about myself on that one. But anyway, so we've got that massive divergence on the daily chart I was mentioning in my videos for quite some times. Did build up nice short position to the upside, and unfortunately couldn't actually keep it all the way down. But if you look at the divergence here on the daily, the origin of the divergence is the first peak you get here. So roughly the target was to retrace that all the way down. Either you put the target at the origin here on the first support you met, so 34.5, or potentially even a drop lower to 32. And we can see today we almost reach the target. So very powerful thing, but you need to be able to hold the emotion, because when you trade, let's say you are in that situation, you having your divergence all in place, but you have started potentially to accumulate since 40, let's say end of June, and then here you are sitting here end of August, so it's been 2 months, you're watching that position doing nothing, and you are still looking at some powerful move to the upside with a big green candle, everybody talking about the price going to 50. It's very hard to actually hold that kind of position. That's the reason why not many people can actually make money with this. But I'm managing to get better at this, holding on better on that kind of position, and hopefully it will pay off with some large move like this that I'd like to catch entirely, of course, because that one was very interesting, from 43 down to 36. So we're talking about like roughly between 15 and 20% down. Of course, to hold it down to 35, it's not a challenge, because at that point here, if you don't take your profit, you see all the profits evaporating over there before you actually get it back. So it's a bit trickier than just holding on, but still, that's the principle. And of course, hopefully for coffee, we're gonna get some similar move. At least the 118 will be nice. That would set up for a nice 10% to the upside. I think it will happen. I really doubt that kind of figure will actually break down. It would be extremely uncommon. Do we have example where that kind of configuration got invalidated? Yeah, I don't believe so. Potentially we had that move here. That was very similar to what we got here, but even then we did actually retrace up, not entirely up to here, but later on it did actually come back to the upside there. But the first swing was from the break 95 to 104, so 10% move to the upside. So that's what we're looking for. I think it would be probably safe at 118 to take profit on that trade, except if the momentum is extremely powerful and we don't see any sign of exhaustion. Yeah, that's about it. Do you have any question or yeah, about the divergence that you want me to just go through? Yeah, one thing about the divergence that is a little bit tricky is that if you start, because you start to see that divergence are actually working, and then the problem is you start seeing divergence everywhere. So very important, you need to get the divergence usually in overbought or oversold condition, and ideally above 1 hour chart. We can look at WTI for what happened today. That one did actually work. I mean, it's not finished yet, but we got that divergence here on the 1 hour when we got that drop to 37, and it's very dangerous to actually buy that kind of divergence because they are not really. You want to see some distance from the drop, the original drop. You want to see some more clarity on the divergence rather than just seeing some loss of momentum that could be just a pause in the move to the downside. So you don't want to actually be trying to trade every divergence you see because some are just not worth trading. Ideally, you need to see something like this. That kind of figure, like morning star or something similar, that is very strong rejection, showing that the buyers are actually here. If you look at that level here, there's some buyers, but it could be short covering or something very small. That's not actually strong enough to actually pull some proper reversal here. We may have a chance to have something a little bit more serious, and the target would be to retrace. I think that one was actually showing on the 30 minutes. It was very obvious on the 15. Usually the 15 minutes not really the best to trade, but you can see here that's a very nice divergence, even if it's a really low time frame. Usually after such a drop to the downside, you completely oversold even on lower time frames. In the lowest point reached 14, that's very low, and really clean and close to some serious support. You can go and trade that kind of configuration. You might not go really far, but at least you will, at worst case scenario, break even on that kind of trade. So it has to be seen if you can actually break higher, so we'll see that, but the origin of the divergence sitting here, we could see a pullback that could actually move as high as 38. That is probably under 4 hours. Yeah, that's actually quite a nice reversal figure here on the 4 hours as well. So it could actually go, higher than this. But I think 37.7 is probably a fair target for that swing. Yeah, I was mentioning the 118 on coffee quite several times, and yeah, that's where that target is coming from. Also, not only that, because I think, the daily chart is a bit messed up here, but there's many things that's actually pointing to that level. Was pivot point on many occasions in the past. I think we got that level here. It was actually 120. I mean, when we're putting some levels like 118, it doesn't mean that it's exactly 118. It can be 119, 117. It's not a accurate science here. For many reasons. The first reason being that usually, let's say you're having that. So 118 here is actually working relatively fine. But what will happen, yeah, that's a good example. I've just got a few minutes more to explain that. But when you get that move to the upside, you got 118, everybody will be looking at that level. So you will have people ready to short, you will have people potentially ready to buy if it does actually break higher. So you will have many things happening in that area here. So this is why that level will not actually be respected, because at some point some stop losses will push it a bit higher, or some buyers will actually push it higher. So you cannot just take that level and think that it will act as a strong resistance just like this. So the price usually tends to go slightly above the support, slightly above or below resistance. Above resistance, below support. It's just to catch the other orders that are actually accounting for the previous level. So that's why these lines are not really firm or rigid. It can actually move as we progress and as the traders are actually learning about these levels, they're actually positioning themselves around it, and so these levels keep on moving. So it's even worse for the trend lines. That's why trading trend lines is extremely difficult. If you've been attempting to trade breakdown, breakout, very hard. As you can see here, that wedge, I think we had here, I think it's more obvious on the 1 hour. It got many false break out on that one. I think that trend line here, yeah, it's not a perfect draw, but anyway. Yeah, we got that one here. It's very typical. I mean, the trend line is not perfectly draw, but anyway. So we got that breakout here, as we can see at 107, and you could think you are having a nice divergence. Everything is in place for that to break higher, and then we could see that spike here. That's very likely either some stop losses for short position triggering, or some buyers entering into it and getting trapped, and then you see the price reversing and moving back to the lower end. So basically, I'm really rarely trading breakout or breakdown on trendline. On some instance, you can actually do it, but you need some really strong accumulation to actually back up somehow the move and not getting caught in some sort of a false breakout. And it's even worse because you get caught at a very bad price, like 107 for example here, if that's your first entry, which is not ideal, and then you see your drawdown increasing as you move to the downside, so not comfortable either. Yeah, I mean that happens to everybody trying to trade this, and sometimes you can be lucky and actually catch it, but the reason, that's another reason why I'm trading reversal and divergence, because you can actually load your position at better levels and not getting caught too high. I mean, of course that one at 109 was too high, but we could see that we got a decent move to the upside. That was actually worth trading, but if you see on that touch here, you're already sitting at 105, which is a decent level. It didn't actually push much lower. When you get usually 1, 2, 3 touches on the trend line, you can push, I mean it depends on the market, but you can push down 10% from the so potentially 105 could actually trigger a move as low as 95. I don't believe we are getting there on coffee, I really hope not, but this is a possibility. 10% is not unusual on when you're trading divergence. Supports can be considered in breakout strategy. What do you mean? Like, does it mean like, because in a breakout strategy you would actually look at resistance and trying to position yourself on the breakout and trying to catch the move above the resistance, if I got what you're saying. Good, trying to find some example maybe. I'm sure we got one on WTI. Usually my experience, it doesn't end well when you start trading this. There's pretty good example here, potentially here. So we got that resistance was sitting at 41, and we had some accumulation, almost some sort of ascending triangle here. It's not perfect, but something like this. So you could be here tempted to actually buy that breakout. As we can see here, it was an extremely bad idea. Because of course many got caught above 41. I mean, I don't have the volume here, but I'm sure the volume did spike on that point here, and many got caught before the price did reverse and break down for good. So yeah, and very similar here, we got that level, was very strong support, 36.2 roughly, and we got the breakdown here that did actually trigger a move to 35, but then it did reverse quickly, and we have a possibility now for the price to move higher. And all these traders that did actually catch the breakdown here we got with that large candle are now trapped with a very bad position moving forward. Yeah, that's all. I think about the divergence anyway. I think I've covered what was the point, I guess. Do you have any question, or can we just cut it off? Yeah, just checking what that coffee is doing. Yeah, I think it's closed already now. Yeah, it's not so bad. Let's hope we get the market in support to break that level. Maybe on tomorrow. Yeah, no problem, guys. Thanks for watching. I will leave the video if you missed it, so you can actually run through it. Can do some other session if you have specific questions again, but the way I trade is quite simple, really. I don't try to overcomplicate stuff, so divergence is the basis, but yeah, emotion control and sticking to the plan is the hardest part, I guess. Thanks for watching, and I speak to you soon. Cheers, bye. See you guys.